Welcome to the pod. My baby's back. He's home from New York City. Hey now, Robbie's back.
I'm 5 days clean from video games. And it's a really big deal because I got
Were you really
swept away.
Really?
Yeah. Not so much with like uncontrolled play, but like my brain was just a constant stimulation. Like, listen, I already like to stay in when it's 12 degrees outside and you're giving me Mario Kart and NFL Blitz and hang time. I was, there were like the first 3 days when I got there to that Airbnb, I would just play for 8 hours nonstop. And now like I'm still fucked up from it. Like my brain is just constantly looking for stimulation. Like it's like, zzz, like there's this constant buzzing in my head of like, and it only goes away if like I pick up my phone, if I like engage in technology. It's fucking wild.
Did you feel it the first time you turned on the N64 at the Airbnb, or did it take a few before you were like, I feel like I got an itch, I got to scratch?
Yeah, it took days. Like it took a couple of days, and all of a sudden it became like, if I wasn't like, normally when I wake up, it's like open my eyes and it's like, hey, there's the day, and they thought I was waking up and it was like just thoughts like insane rattling through my head of nonsense too, of just like songs or this or just like
go too far down the hole where you only feel comfortable when you're like doing certain activities. It's a tricky game, this life. I'm glad you're clean.
Yeah. I saw somebody in our comments from our last pod and they were like, I thought Rob was sober. He smokes weed and this. And like, I think sobriety looks different for everybody. I don't think there is, because like
that's called California sober.
Right. Which is also just a made up thing. Like that's also just a made up thing.
No, I've heard that before.
No, I know, but someone just made it.
Like, I know several people.
It's not like a technical term by.
I think everyone's different.
Doctors,
and if you're able to smoke weed here and there, and it doesn't like you don't find yourself drinking at the end of like a bender, then you're fine. Like, I have no idea of what everyone's personal situation is. I know for my situation, if I were to smoke weed, I would eventually come back to alcohol.
You really think so?
Totally.
Wow.
Just because like when I would smoke that first time, I'd be like, oh, this is great. Mm-hmm. I have no problem. I could probably just do this. And then what would happen after I sobered up from that first time I smoked weed again is I would be like, oh, when's the next time I should do this?
Yeah.
And I just start fixating on the next time. And then it's like, well, I guess maybe I'll do it on weekends, and then you do a weekend, then you're like, well, I guess I'm home from work. I can do it at night during the week. And then it just spirals. And then eventually, I'm drinking and who knows what.
It's good you have that awareness.
Oh, yeah.
Although, did you see that? Did we talk about this the last pod? I feel like I always say that. Where apparently if you smoke a lot of weed, like it blocks COVID.
And as a true pothead, you don't remember talking about it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Did we talked about this already?
COVID.
Well, a friend of mine texted me the other day because she knows I smoke. And she was like, Jamie, I called all my friends in LA that I know smoke a ton of weed. And obviously I don't smoke a ton, but none of them have gotten COVID.
This is alleged, guys. Allegedly. We're not giving medical advice. Remember
this isn't medical advice, but this is what she told me.
Somebody could be like, I smoked a bunch of weed and I got COVID.
Yeah, smoke weed and invest in Ethereum.
Yep.
Yeah, we are not financial advisors. But, for me, I think there's like 3 categories. Like when I was smoking cigarettes and drinking, like I was kind of, even when I was smoking cigarettes for fucking over 10 years, like there was a thing of like, I don't know. Am I addicted? Because I could stop. Like I really felt that way. And then
with cigarettes?
Yeah, with cigarettes, with alcohol, with whatever. Like I just was kind of like, I could stop. And then I started, Percocets, and even worse was Xanax, where that was the thing where it was like, I cannot stop this. Like,
have you watched Dope Sick?
No, but I'm going
with Michael
Hulu?
Keaton. Yeah. It's one of those things I want to watch, but I feel like it's kind of heavy. Is that
it's heavy, but what's crazy is, so I'm like 2 episodes in maybe only. And in the first episode, they're showing how the people that manufactured OxyContin, like how they got like the FDA to make them this like label that they've never given, where it says like it's proven that it is less addictive than other opioids. And like they have this infomercial of like all these people saying like, I get out of bed and go to work every day. I don't miss work anymore. I am enjoying my life. I'm social again. Like, and people thought it was like this miracle drug where all the pharmaceutical reps were in this meeting being like, so this could be like everything to everyone, basically. And they were like, yeah, this is what you do. This is what you tell these doctors. And there was like 6 states in specific that they marketed towards, was like Maine, Vermont, like wherever there was more manual labor, where more physical injuries from people's jobs.
Yeah.
And again, I'm just starting it, but it's just really, it's hard because I actually saw this Instagram that Aubrey Marcus did the other day, and it was like, Dear Big Pharma. And it was like, thank you for helping me with my headache when I partied too hard the night before. Like, thank you for giving me something that helped me with my anxiety. Thank you for giving me a medicine when I got an infection that helped me, not die. But then also like on the flip side, like, where are you actually looking out for me? There's just like there's this, war with big pharma where obviously, I mean, I can attest there's medications that help me. There are medications that help us on a daily basis. But at the same time, you feel like, where's the line being drawn where they're actually wanting us to be healthy? Right?
Yeah, well, I feel like that's like one of the biggest problems with fucking everything today. It's like everybody wants things to be so black and white, where it's the same thing. You could say the same thing for alcohol. You could say the same thing for drugs. Like there could be somebody who's like, God, thank you, alcohol, because I have, 2 drinks a night, 3 nights a week, and it takes me somewhere great and I feel great. And then there's other people who could be like, hey, alcohol, like you, because of you, like you, I don't have a dad. My family is that like, and that's fucking everything,
Yeah.
like I was talked about this with you and Cass, but there was somebody who I was listening to and they were saying like, how everybody wants things to be black and white. And they were saying, it's like, with everything that's going on in the world today and why these arguments go on for so fucking long and there is no end, is he's like, it's like arguing if you have a dog and you love your dog more than anything, but you also eat meat for dinner every single night. And then it's like one person arguing, one side is like, you love dogs. And the other side is somebody going, he murders animals. Like, and it's like, oh, well, but he loves animals. It's he murders animals. And that's just going to go on forever.
Yeah.
Like
there's no room for nuance in a lot of conversations. There was a thing, I don't really listen to too much Joe Rogan, but there was something recently where he was like, he said something and it was proven wrong. And then the guy like they had a civil discussion with the guy that was like, I think you were telling me about this, right?
Yeah.
Where he was like, you were wrong, but here's the correct information. And there wasn't like a lambasting from one side to the other where they blew it out of proportion. It was just like, you were wrong. Here's the correct information. Now, and both sides were like, oh yeah.
Right. And then
that's how it kind of should be.
And the media took that and went, Joe Rogan made to look like a fool on his latest pod, like, where everyone's like, wait, what? Like, don't you want to be able to go like, oh, that's not correct. Like, what is everyone supposed to always be right about? I don't understand what the fuck is going on. Like, it's just a crazy fucking time.
Well,
but that's,
Rob,
by the way,
I had a long talk about it. Like if you're one thing, then that means you support this, and this. I've never, at least maybe I'm paying more attention, but I've never felt things to be as extreme as they've been the way they are today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's also like, it is because I do think they're more extreme in our lifetimes than ever, especially like domestically. Right. Like, because after 9/11, it was like, there was so much fucking anger and hate, but it wasn't against like your fucking neighbor, it wasn't, it was,
Also, everyone has a voice now. Like people that were never like in 2000, I joined Twitter in 2008. I was the only person I knew like in my friend group that had a Twitter. And besides that, like Facebook updates, no one no one had a place where they were like, this is what I think. It was
Do you
just
go
like
on Twitter a lot?
I go on Twitter every day just to see what people are talking about.
I never go
but
on
I don't
Twitter.
I don't tweet that often, and I don't respond. I'll like stuff here and there, but I do go on for like information. I get like a big information dump in the morning, and that's part of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's why I like Instagram, because Instagram's fluffier. Twitter gets angrier to me, which is why I think I stay away from it.
Yeah. And like the last few months, the TikTok I find myself on there it used to just be for a couple of minutes. Now I'm on there for an average of 15, 20 minutes per session.
How many sessions a day?
One, usually at night, but that's going to go up.
So do you pick, what are like the things you choose to follow, right? That are now.
Oh, okay, great. I'm so glad you asked. This is something that's come up. I've been cultivating my algorithm on TikTok very carefully.
You have to, right? Otherwise, I get is teenage girls dancing, and I'm like, how do I get out of this? I've gone on it 4 times.
After weeks and weeks of cultivating,
I've finally cracked it.
You can have mine.
Yeah, but like so me and some folks from work, we have like a text thread where we'll send each other TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can kind of have the same sort of like algorithm. And we kind of have the same comedic sensibility. So there's a lot of like-minded stuff. And so things that they send me, I'll most likely like. But now my algorithm is it's a lot of animals, it's a lot of disabled people for some reason.
The fuck? Why?
It's like disabled people being funny.
Okay.
And then
forget it. Oh man.
Yeah.
I wish sometimes I wish you could just say anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, everyone has a voice, back to that. You just get people that they have, no one wants to hear them. And then they can go on Twitter and they can harass, it's just like too many people have a voice, and there's too many outlets. And, but yeah, my TikTok is something I'm pretty proud of. My algorithm I got a pretty cream algorithm, and I've talked about it on some pods on G4. And I'm very proud of the videos that come up on my TikTok, and I'd love to share them with you if you'd allow me.
Well, you should do like a TikTok of the week, or is that your mom's house they do their TikTok?
Yeah.
We could do a TikTok of the week.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Like, we got to get back somewhere where we could watch stuff at the same time as Jamie. That sucks.
We've got to crack that code. There was a part of being in studio that was really fun. We could all kind of tune into the same stuff, but there is a way for us to do it here.
So what, Jamie Cassim knows this, but I got COVID, and I'm going to talk about the whole story, whatever, in a minute. But I feel like, this hasn't been the lightest first, 10 or 15 minutes. So I want to do something light, and then we'll go into that. But so I was thinking, the same thing that we we're just talking about, where it's like these arguments where somebody's like, no, I'm right. And I'm right. And it's like, well, you could both be right. Like, and that's happening so often. And there's one that I want to talk about so much with you. And it got me thinking of like how much I would love to host a show where like people just debate, like you give them like, here, this is your side of the thing. This is your side of the thing. So you guys want to try it with YouTube? Yeah. We could try it with YouTube, but also like, I'm going to have to step in because I'm so passionate about this. You're fired? Yeah. So
okay,
here's the debate. Jamie knows on a reality show, me and Jamie watch Real Housewives. And I know people are like, oh, sure, I hate the Real Housewives. It has nothing to do with the fucking Real Housewives. This is something that happens in life all the time. The husband finally passes his bar exam, right? And it's like the biggest achievement of his life. And he's so, everyone's like, wow, it's such a big deal. It's such a big deal. Wow. Like, blah, blah, because he took it a bunch of times, failed this. And his wife instantly goes, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. For you passing the bar exam, I'm going to throw you a party. And all your friends are going to be there, and everyone. And he goes, but no, he goes, I don't want that. He's like, I don't like parties. I don't like and I relate to him so much where it's like, I don't like parties either, but where it's like, he's like, I don't want that. And she's like, well, I'm trying to be nice and do something nice for you. And it becomes one of these things where it's like,
not for him.
He's the right. So he's the bad guy. He worked so hard for this achievement. He finally achieves it, and now his gift
but
is
you're leaving something out. He only passed because they lowered the score. Remember?
Right. Yeah. But it's like if you finally achieve this thing you want to achieve, and your reward from the person who's supposed to love you the most is something you don't want, and they make you feel bad when you go like, "Hey, I like." And here's the thing. It's not a stranger, right? It's your fucking husband. You know what he does like. Do the thing that he does like.
Yeah, but this is because they're on The Housewives and the producers are like,
they need a party every episode.
Find events.
But hold on.
Sure, there are
this
people
happens.
that do this. You're right.
This has happened to me in relationships. This is a fucking thing that goes on all the time where it's like, hey, but like, I don't like you're doing something that you say is for me.
This is where it matters to be with somebody that you vibe the same. Like Cutter and I both love to do nothing. And our idea of like for our anniversary, we had this like whole dinner plan last night. Our nanny came at like 3:30 and I was like, Cutter, let's like go out on the mule. We like rode around our neighborhood with Bean. We ended up stopping at our friend's house and we were like, we never get to hang with our friends without our kids. And we ended up just sitting at their house for 4 hours, just talking. We ordered pizza and like got in bed by 8:30, watched Summer House and went to bed. And we were like, that was the most perfect night. Now, if I was somebody that I'm like, I like to get dressed up, I want to go out to dinner, and he didn't, that would be hard. It would be really hard to live with that person. So it's important, I think, in a relationship to vibe the same that way.
Yeah. The lifestyle has to match. And we've talked about this a little bit, and talking about relationships and things, but you can't be too far off.
Cass, you got your Green Chef, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard you were pretty happy when that arrived.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I got our new sponsor, Green Chef, in the mail. Everything came together in a box. They put the little ice packets in there to make sure it's all nice and cool.
Perfect.
Fresh veggies. Everything's labeled, tells you exactly what you got to do and where to put it and how to do it. It's got the recipe there. I made a terrific meal. It made it seem like I knew what I was doing in the kitchen, and I knew I was eating well. So, check out Green Chef.
With fresh produce, premium proteins, and organic ingredients you can trust. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And we love to eat well around here. Green Chef offers 35 nutritious and flavorful options to choose from every week, featuring premium, clean ingredients that are seasonally sourced for peak freshness. Green Chef makes cooking easy, so you can spend less time stressing and more time enjoying delicious home-cooked meals. Green Chef's pre-made and pre-measured sauces, dressings, and spices get you more chef-curated flavor in less time.
If you're not making it, it just never tastes as good. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You make your own dinner, and it's healthy, and it's everything's like pre-portioned, ready to go, ready to cook. Makes everything so much easier. Go to greenchef.com/pajama130 and use code pajama130 to get $130 off.
Woof. Plus free shipping. Yeah, baby.
Wow. Go to greenchef.com/pajama130 and use code pajama130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. It's the #1 meal kit for eating well. How about Everlane, huh? Sponsored for Pajama Pants Podcast. Also, fantastic garments, these Everlane people.
If you like comfortable sweaters, they got great cozy sweaters, babe.
Everlane makes feel-good sweaters with premium quality and considered design, all with the lightest impact, whether it's super soft, grade A cashmere, re-cashmere. Did you know that? That's recycled for a 50% smaller carbon footprint, or alpaca. What an adorable animal.
All I know is it's getting cold. And for my sweaters, I go to Everlane, babe.
That's right. A couple of my favorites from Everlane is the Cashmere Crew and the No Sweater Sweater. These guys have it all. They have a cool blend of organic cotton sweater that keeps you cool and comfortable. The durable aesthetic of cotton is a blend of recycled Cool Max eco-made polyester, which wicks away moisture to keep you dry. The sweater is made part of Everlane's uniform collection, featuring everyday basics with a 365-day guarantee.
Listen, some people only care about how clothes look. For me, I care about how clothes feel against my skin. Yes,
that's
how they
so
feel
true.
Against my skin. And it helps that Everlane also is very stylish. But I just love the way it feels against my skin.
That's
Very
right.
comfortable. And that's the number one thing. If you're, listen
to this.
Number
man.
one thing.
Number one.
You want to be happy, you wear comfortable clothes.
That's right. And you can do that easily by giving the gift of premium comfort and sustainable impact with Everlane sweaters. Go to everlane.com/pajama and sign up for 10% off your first order plus free shipping and get easy returns within 30 days of your ship date. That's 10% off your first order when you go to everlane.com/pajama and sign up. Thank you, Everlane, for sponsoring the pod. You have to kind of line up on some pretty big things, and both being like liking to stay in and do nothing is a big one. Sarah loves to stay in.
Yeah, it's just and it's like, it's just because here's the deal, right? I'm so passionate about one side of that argument, but I totally understand the other side.
Of course.
But it's like
not saying our way is better. It's
right. But I'm talking about the whole, like, her wanting to throw him a party, like that. Like, I understand her wanting to do, and she thinks like, oh, but I'm trying to do something nice for you. It's like, yeah, but that's what you want.
Yes.
That's what I don't know how, like, it's like, no, but that doesn't make me happy. And by the way, again, like, it's like, hey, this is my moment, right? You want to make me happy. You know what I fucking like. Like, yeah, let's go on a vacation or whatever it is. It's like, why don't we, but like, if it would be crazy. Like, I could never be in the position where like I tell my girlfriend, like, hey, I want to do, oh, congratulations, you got this. Like, here's what I want to do for you. And she's like, oh, like, I don't like that. And me being like, no, but we're going to do it. Like, pushing the person to do that. It sounds insane to me because she basically forces him to have this party and they do it. And it's like the whole time it's like, hey, if you say no to this party that you don't want to go to, you're a bad guy.
Right. Or it looks like you don't care. So do you want us to argue about it or are we done with that one?
I don't know. I think it's hard for us to argue because we all agree. Yeah. But all like,
I mean, I was in a situation where I had an ex who like threw me a party, but it was because me and my brother's birthdays are. Oh,
I was there.
Yeah, you were there. And like my first thing was like, no, you don't need to do that. I'm not a big, like, I'd rather just take it easy. Then she was like, no, it'll be fun. Like, I'll do all the work. You don't have to, all you got to do is show up and it'll also be for your brother. And I was like, okay. Then I kind of came, I was like, okay, that's fine. What ended up happening was like a lot of stuff needed to get done. And then I'm being pulled in to do like, hey, can you go grab chairs? Can you go like, and then I'm like, well, see, this is exactly what I didn't want because I'm going to go to this thing and then it's going to be, an issue. And there was also like a thing where we all did this fun thing with the movie. I set up a projector, and we're all like, all our friends, we're going to sit outside in my backyard and watch a movie. But in order to choose the movie, we did a thing where we all put the suggestions in a hat and then one would get picked. And then whichever one got picked, we would watch. We all agreed that's what would. And we all thought it was fun. The one that got picked was like a documentary, that like, was total snooze. But we're like, let's be good sports about it. Let's do it. And then the person I was dating at the time, like, was seething. She was like, are you going to say something? And like, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's like, it's like 90 minutes. Like, we're all having fun. It's more about like, we're just out here kind of vibing and taking it easy. It's like, I can't. You have to say something. You have to. So I had to go and say something to the couple whose movie got picked and be like,
she made you say something?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. Now Jamie knows who it is.
And I had to go over there and be like, look, this is kind of embarrassing, but like, I'm getting a lot of heat about the movie that was picked. And like, I think it's a cool movie. Like, I would totally be down.
You totally sold her out.
Well, of course.
She's
like, I shouldn't have to be put in that position.
She lied about the party in the first place.
Here's where Cutter and I like butt heads. So he's very controlling. And like, he wants, like, I can't buy him a present because if I buy him a present, he'll be like, I'll be like, oh, I got you this jacket. And he'll be like, well, I mean, I wish you asked me first because I'd like to compare it to a few other jackets before I decided if this was the best jacket.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get him anything. It's so fucking annoying. But for his 30th birthday, I was so proud of myself because I'm like, I want to throw him a party. It's his 30th birthday. He always was playing baseball prior and like was never home for his birthday. He's never gotten to celebrate it. He had a summer birthday as a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I want to throw him this epic party, but like I want to make it Cutter style. So we did it at our house. I ordered a chef to cook Mexican food like fajitas and tacos and whatever in our driveway. And then I got this tap trailer with beer. He loves beer. It had like 3 different beers. I made sure I got his favorite beer on tap, one of them, with like this photo booth inside. And then it was just a pool party at our house. Like loads of drinks, like got this whole weed bar set up, invited all his friends from high school, his family, and a couple of our friends. And like I was trying to make it a surprise, but like he could feel something was going on. And then the morning of, he didn't go where I asked him to go. And I had a nanny to take the kids all day. Like I did all
What's going on, bro?
And then like the beer tap thing pulls up and he was like, ugh, okay. So now I'm just, they can't park here. This is what, and I was like, Cutter, like I ordered like sun visors that had like his name, but like in Greek letters. So it looked like it was like a fraternity. Like I tried really hard and like he ruined it for me, even though it was his party. Like this is where I can understand, he ruined it for me because I had worked so hard and I was so excited because I felt like I really had curated like all the things he liked. And I wanted to make it comfortable. Like I had beer pong set up. I had cornhole set up. Like I made it so it was like a relaxing but like fun party where he could feel celebrated. And he somehow managed to still control it at the end. And it really upset me.
So
I mean, I still had a great time. Yes, he had a great time.
All right.
And even like his friends were like, dude, this was like a dope party she threw for you. Like Cutter's not good at like, he's grateful, but he's not good at like words and like saying thank you and stuff. But I don't know. That was one time that we got like into it. And I was upset because I was like, I want to do this for you. And he ruined it.
Well, Cutter doesn't want to be vulnerable.
Not good at it.
Okay,
I do it enough for the both of us.
Yeah. One quick more question before I get to COVID. Okay. I didn't realize that this is such a big deal to me, but when you're making a sandwich, how do you cut it?
Just down the middle.
Triangle.
Of course.
Jamie,
down the middle?
You cut it in a triangle.
Well, that's how it was cut for me when I was little.
Yeah, we've all been abused.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah, James, you gotta. I'm telling you, just try.
But I don't eat the crusts.
Introduce triangle into your life.
I don't eat the crust. So triangle means you got to bite the crust. I'm not interested.
Okay.
When you cut it straight down the middle, I have more of the middle to eat.
Yeah, you go corn on the cob on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd make the argument that there's the same amount of crust.
I don't want it. No, because it's like there's just a border and the whole middle's open, so I can take a bite, and then I have a U crust.
This is the smartest podcast out there, I think.
That's the most relatable.
To me, if somebody cuts a sandwich down the middle, I don't even really want it. Like I want the diagonal. It's like they say like you eat with your eyes. That's why a chef will be like, this dish needs something red, like because it just like makes you go like, ooh. And when I see a sandwich cut down the middle, it's just like it reminds me of like loser kids. You know? Like it really does. Like where I would see kids and be like, your parents must be fucking douches. You know, your parents must suck.
You gotta
cut that shit.
You know, when I was a kid, I was very self-conscious because my parents didn't make me like regular sandwiches. They made me like
what'd
pita.
You get?
I got fucking pita, like
tabbouleh.
I got a peanut butter and jelly every day of my life. That's it.
Dude, I would have
every
killed
day
for a peanut butter and jelly. I would have killed for a peanut butter and jelly.
I would have killed for a pita and felt fancy.
Yeah, I never got lunch. I would eat lunch. I would eat lunch at like the school would have lunch, or like this one kid would give me half of bagel with cream cheese, cinnamon raisin bagel toasted. Oof,
ooh,
nice. Yeah,
get a raisin out of my life, dude.
Hey, did you ever do a buttered bagel with grape jelly?
Yeah, great. By the way, jelly on, you could put jelly on,
but grape, like good. Concord grape jelly on a butter, like so buttered, like it's like unreal. What's it called? Like it's all over your hands. Yes. Yeah.
So cool.
I gotta try that, I guess.
That's such a New York thing, I think.
All right. Sorry. So should I tell my?
Let's hear it.
Robbie got COVID.
I was chilling with the Coco. I got COVID in New York. So here's what happened. I didn't want to talk about it because it's like not a fun thing to talk about. And I was alone. I wanted like the good quality us be, like I already felt like the 3 people pods where we're each in a different location is already sad. I didn't want to make like more sad. So,
but my baby is back.
I got COVID. We did an episode where I had it and I was kind of sick and I just didn't talk about it. But yeah, I was, I understand. It's
Talk to us about how it started, when you found out, how long did you have it for?
Yeah, well, let's start at the beginning. So I went to my dad's place. When I first got to New York, it was great. And we all hung out. We surprised him. Like he had no idea I was coming. And my brother called him to come downstairs. And my other brother had COVID at the time. So he was like, oh, I'm just going to stay downstairs. And he called my dad to come out to be like, hey, come say hi. And me and my other brother snuck up behind him. And my brother lives like 6 hours away. He drove and it was great. And then at that time, my one brother had COVID, my brother Michael. Then everybody fucking like went to their thing for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And then my brother Michael was like, yo, you got to come back up so we could all hang. I'm not putting this on Mike. I'm just saying, he's like, oh, we got to come up so we could all hang. So we're back up there and we're hanging out. And all of a sudden my other brother comes in from work and he like eats mashed potatoes that my dad made. And he's like, whoa, I can't even taste these. And we were like, what? And like, Michael already had COVID. So he's like laughing, doesn't care. And I'm like, yo, like one of the main reasons I went to New York was it was my best friend's engagement party. So I was supposed to go to that. And this is like 6 days before that. And I'm just like, yo, what are you talking? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I've had a headache for 2 days. And my other brother's like, yo, it sounds like COVID. Like, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So then like, I get back to my place and the first day, like I feel nothing. I'm like, okay, maybe like I didn't get it, whatever. And the second day I'm like, uh-oh, like I feel a little bit like I'm getting sick. And I was supposed to go see my friend's baby.
2 days after you
2 days
saw
after. Him. So I was supposed to see my friends. Yeah, I was supposed to.
Normally it's what, 3-4 days?
But it was just like, like I feel something's coming on.
In the throat.
Yeah, like that tickle in your throat.
You feel that first, like,
by the way, I've had that tickle 4 times.
I've had it for 3 years.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I for sure got it. And I kept taking tests.
Same.
And I never got it, but I feel it a little scratchy back here.
I feel it right now.
Hey, this is so fun. I thought COVID was going to be a heavy topic.
No, this is so fun. It's easy.
It's everyone out there, baby.
I'll tell you right now, it's going to get heavy, guys. It gets a little heavy over here, but
I can't imagine how heavy this gets.
It gets fucking heavy. So, but it's not me. It's not the COVID.
No, I know.
Well, it is COVID, but it's not. Yeah. So I get home, whatever. And then like the third day, I'm like, okay, like I'm getting sick or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that night I felt like shit. And then for like 12 hours, maybe I felt bad. And then after it was just like headaches, body aches. And I understand it's very serious. Some people killed some people, lost people in their family. I'm just telling you my experience. It was luckily very light, like not bad, but so when I was sick, I thought I was sick and I was talking to my manager. He knows a lot about COVID and he's like, okay, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to go get this stuff. And like I think it's like the FLCC has like these things that you should do if you're getting COVID. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do like all these things. He's like, go get a test. So I go and get a test, took a test. It's negative. I'm like, okay. But then it was the next day and I'm like, no, I'm feeling sick. And it's everything they described. Like I feel the headache. I feel it's like pounding in my head. I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks. And I go,
do you take Tylenol or you don't take anything?
Yeah. So I would take a Tylenol every night. And by the way, when I had COVID, my sleep was rock star sleep. Like I was sleeping 13 hours, just like no problem. And I would stay awake for like 11, and then sleep for like 13. It was crazy. So then I'm like, I'm just about to take my COVID test, right? And now I'm like, oh, I 100% have COVID in my head. And all of a sudden there's a fucking knock at the door of the Airbnb I'm staying in. So I'm like, hello. And it was crazy because like, it was very aggressive. And like, I'm hearing things outside and I'm like, hello. I was, yeah, it's the cops. And I'm like, I can't see out the people. So I'm like, you have these stories of like, where like people pretend to be fucking cops.
Right.
And
yeah, it's we're the cops.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's,
who says
open
that?
up, mister.
Yeah. It's the police, whatever. So I'm like, well, what do you want? He's like, I need you to come out. I need you to come out here to speak to you. And I'm like, and I'm like, no, like I'm not going to come out.
Does the door have one of those chains on it?
Yeah, it has a chain, but I'm not doing that either. Cause also I think I have fucking COVID.
Right. Did you tell him that?
No. So at first I did not. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm not coming out. What's up? And he's like, well, I need to speak to you out here. And I'm like, well, I'm not coming outside. And he's like, okay. Then I'm like, you could ask me through the door. He's like, no, forget it. So I'm like, okay. 5-10 minutes goes by. And I'm like, well, that was weird. 10 minutes goes by. And all of a sudden it was like, bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, yo. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, I need you to come outside. I need to speak to you. And I'm like, for what? Like, what is going on? He's like, I can talk about it through the door. If you come outside,
is there a peephole? Can you see there's
a peephole, but you can't see out of it. It was just like, like
it was like 30,
like 100 years of like tape and paint and whatever. You just like, you see nothing,
cool.
And nice. I think it's like, when people say like, they're like 99% blind and they're like, sometimes you could see like a shadow. Like,
yeah.
That's the vibe I got out of the people, but it was like a really old building. So he's like, come outside. And I'm like, listen, man, I think I might have COVID. So I'm like, I'm not opening the door, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, whatever. And then I hear him knock on the neighbor's door and the neighbor's like, oh, we have COVID. Like, so blah, blah, blah. And this is when COVID was like, balling. Just like, So I hear all of a sudden, so it's like a railroad long apartment. And at the end of the apartment was a giant window, like really big. And it didn't close it didn't lock. And so I took the pole from where you hang your clothes in the closet and I put it diagonally across the top so somebody couldn't just like come in. Like, I was like, that's fucking like, you don't care that this window doesn't lock because there's a fire escape that goes right up to it. And I'm like, I lived in New York for too fucking long. Like I know too many stories. So I put the bar there or whatever. So now I'm sitting back on my couch. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Meanwhile, I have like the open COVID test, like on the fucking table and I'm waiting. And all of a sudden I hear like bing, clank, bang. And the fucking window moves and it opens and it's a fucking cop like opening my window. And I'm like, yo, I'm like, wrong fucking apartment, like blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, like, and by the way, like the blinds are down. I could never see him. He could never see me. They never like, I still haven't like seen a cop. Like, I'm just like, yeah, these are cops, I'm guessing. Right.
Babe, the new year means rethinking how me and you take care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Native makes it easy to switch to a personal care brand that makes all their products with simple ingredients. Native cares about the products you put in your body. Look, I got Native deodorant. Okay. It's all natural ingredients. I don't know if you guys, have tried other all natural products, but sometimes they don't work as you would hope. Unfortunately, for those people, Native is on the scene and it does work. Native's coconut and vanilla scented aluminum-free deodorant. Aluminum-free. That's important. Big. That's a big one. Aluminum-free deodorant has been a customer favorite for years, and now Native is on a mission to overhaul your entire hygiene routine. They create products that are made with simple ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil, so you can smell great all day.
Native deodorant checks a lot of boxes. It's aluminum-free, 24-hour protection, and over 10 scents to choose from.
That's right. Now is the time to treat yourself with Native. If you visit their site, you'll find not just deodorant, but body wash, bar soap, toothpaste. I have the toothpaste too. Shampoo, conditioner, and sunscreen. Everything you need to take your self-care to the next level.
This year, up your personal hygiene routine with Native. Go to nativedeo.com/pajama, or you can use promo code pajama at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/pajama, nativedeo.com/pajama, or use promo code pajama at checkout, 20% off your first order. So shuts the window and he's like, is this 4A? I'm like, no, fucking 4F, whatever. Like, I don't even remember the apartment. I'm just making that up, but this 4 or whatever. And so I'm like, no. So now in the apartment, there's a brick wall and then another wall. And that wall you share with the apartment next to you. So if I banged on it, the person right there would hear like bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
So, and then that wall comes out like 3 feet. And then it kind of makes like a weird shape, like a house, like when little kids draw a house. It's like the triangle on top and then a box. So that triangle, there's a window on one side and a window on the other side where I could see into that apartment across the hall.
So if you like climbed up, you could see through? Not like up. It's meaning like it's not a
triangle
window that's
eye
like,
level, or is it?
Yeah,
No, sorry,
exactly.
it was a bad example. It was a bad thing.
I got a lot of shapes going through my head.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. So
I got brick, drywall,
meaning like you
triangle.
can't see the other apartment normally. Like you'd have to go somewhere, like climb up to look through that window.
So here's what it is. We share a bedroom wall, we share a living room wall. Then the walls come out 3 feet from each other, or they come out 1.5 feet from each other. So there's 3 feet of space. And then there's just space between our walls of our apartments instead of them being together like the bedroom walls. You know what I mean? So if I bang on my kitchen wall, I'm banging into open space.
Got it.
Because there's 3 feet between the building. But if I bang on the bedroom wall, she's right there. Like she can feel the vibration. So there's like 3 feet of space, and there's a window that I have, and the apartment next to me has an identical window. And if you look in, you could see, and I kind of like, over the last 5 days that I was there, like there was this blonde girl who was in the apartment, and I kind of like, in passing saw her and like whatever.
That's so weird.
Which part?
That you had windows that you could see into each other's apartments.
Yeah. And I had no blinds, and she had blinds that would be down like sometime.
As a California person, this is just, it's not common. Being able to see
like I've never heard of this.
Oh,
ever
right.
In my
Like
life.
there would be times where I'd be walking by the window, and she happened to be walking by the window, and we were like,
what do you do? You just got to stand. You got to say hi.
What if you're like
pretend
naked
like you both
or no
don't?
pants on, or
Here's
like
the deal. I lived in New York my whole life, so I don't find it that weird. So I know the deal. I'm like, you just ignore it. But there was a night where I was sitting on my couch, and like I was like folding laundry or doing something. So I was like in front of the window for a long time, and she was doing work in front of it. So I was gonna be like, should I say hi or just like acknowledge whatever? And then I'm like, I have 2 sisters. If there's a guy across from them, I don't want them saying hi to my sister. So I was like, that's how I'm going to deal with this. I'm not going to say hi. And I wouldn't want to weird her out. Like,
but you'll sit there with a shirt off, maybe.
Huh?
Send her a signal.
I'll do push-ups.
So
whatever. Now I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm hearing more cops in the hallway. I'm hearing the walkie-talkie. So now I'm like, okay, there's definitely like fucking cops, whatever's going on. I'm like, I'm not going to open my blinds because I just don't want to fucking interact with like fucking police right now. I hear them outside, and then all of a sudden I heard like crying. And when I walked by, I saw through the window, I saw police officers taking pictures of a body. Yeah. So or whoever it was taking like the photos of the body. And from what I was told after that, the girl who was across the hall from me was on a 10-day quarantine for COVID, and she committed suicide. Yeah. So it was fucking.
So the girl that you were seeing every day.
The girl that
How old was she?
We'll say allegedly committed suicide, because I but like that's what I was told, and by someone.
How old?
I don't know. I never really got a look. 30. I don't know.
So not like younger, an adult, but younger.
For sure. Definitely. Like, like was sitting on the laptop, like doing work all like during the day or whatever. And here's the crazy part, right? It was the apartments were thin, and they weren't like big apartments, but they were long because it was like railroad style. And there's, let's just say 75, 80 feet of apartment. And I could see into like 3 or 4 feet of hers. She could see into 3 or 4 feet of mine. And she killed herself in the 3 feet that I could see into her apartment. It was almost like.
Now, like, did she like, do you know how she killed herself?
I don't know, but what I was told is it was not messy. So there wasn't like a gunshot. It was nothing.
Probably like pharmaceutical.
Something. Yeah. I don't know. But I had heard.
Back to the Sackler family.
Yeah. It was. It was crazy. So now.
Oof. That's heavy, dude.
Now you start hearing like family members coming and finding out like, yeah, she committed suicide. And you hear the howls of these family members crying, and it sounds like animals. Like it's, you hear like, or I don't know if they're best friends, family members, so now like, I know the cops are, this is like, a half hour later, I know the cops are gone. So I go like by my window and I open up the blinds, and you just the cries that you heard like in the New York City streets, like echoing through the thing. And then like, now there's like cop car, ambulance, this, like they're all fucking coming. And it was crazy. So now I'm sitting inside and I'm like, oh, I have this fucking COVID test like open here. Let me take this COVID test. And I fucking go up the nose, put it in the fucking thing. And then like, now I'm talking to people on the phone. Cause I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy. Like someone just killed herself. This like, I was trying not to look out the window, but like, there were 3 times where like I was walking by and I was like, I just have to fucking look. And like, I made sure not to really look at her body. Like I did the first time, whatever, but like, I was like, I don't want to see her body. I just want to know what's going on over there. And they were just like people standing over her body or like people just fucking talk. And it was crazy. I looked down at the fucking table and it's like, you have COVID. Like my fucking COVID test is like, you have COVID. So
what a dark night.
Yeah,
one of the darkest
you texted
nights.
us.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a dead body before that?
Yeah, there was like stuff back in the day in the building I grew up in, like wasn't a great building and people would like jump off of it and fucking kill themselves. And one time there was I wasn't there for this, but I heard there were like 2 gay guys who found out that they had AIDS and they tied themselves together and jumped off the building and they landed on the awning from 40 stories up. And everybody
awning would support a 40-story.
Well, it wasn't
they just splatter on.
No, I lived in like an insanely large building that the awning, it wasn't like a, material
like
awning. It was like, it was like fiber plexi with like super diesel, like the awning would be like 4 of this room we're in, which doesn't help anybody. The awning was like a fucking school bus, like it was massive awning, like when it would snow and there'd be so much shit up there.
Freaking Dallas Flyers club, man.
Yeah, people would. I don't get it. Yeah, oh, now I do. Okay, I was thinking awning. Yeah. Now okay, sorry. I should have given you more support there.
That's all right. That's crazy. What a weird night.
Yeah,
what a weird,
fucking bizarre. And again, like I was like, I already felt because now I'm like, okay, like this is horrible what happened to her. I'm like, but now I have to kind of deal with my own situation, which is I have to tell my best friend, like, hey, sorry, I can't go to your engagement party. I have to tell other people who I made plans with, like while I was in New York I was only supposed to be there for a little bit, but that's why I ended up like extending my stay and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, so now what do you do? Like,
but also can we go back to you hearing the cries and you're hearing at least somebody's worst moment of their life.
Yeah.
Isn't that gnarly?
Like
horrible. And by the way, like
that's worse than anything.
All the while I'm like sitting there staring at a positive COVID test. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're trying not to, you're like, I wasn't really so much scared of getting really sick from COVID. I was more like, just like all the energy that was coming at that moment was like so bad and so fucking heavy. And on top of that, the kicker is like, okay, this is the beginning of your 10 days alone. Like, I was like, fuck, like what else? And then I hear like, you hear the neighbors and it's like, no, we have COVID. We can't come out. And just like everything that was going on. And I was like, I'm not home, not comfortable. This fucking toilet is up against a wall next to a radiator, like everything. It was just like, but then I was also in a space of like, hey, look what just happened over there. Like, be grateful for, you don't want to fucking kill yourself. Like it's weird. It's hard to like try and put I don't know. It was very crazy.
So, okay. So you took the COVID test. So did it get worse the next day? What were your symptoms like?
No,
just briefly.
So I had like 12 hours of where I was like, oh, like that
Chills.
feeling of like, fuck, I'm sick and I don't feel good. But it was also like the 12 hours were like going to sleep, woke up in the middle of the night, like, and then when I woke up, I was all right. So I just knew like, for a couple hours before sleep, it was really rough in the middle of the night. But by the time I woke up, I was like, I think this is going away. But I was like, that would make no sense. I was only sick for fucking like 12 hours or whatever. But then the body aches, the headaches really bad for like a day or two. And then kind of like subsided.
You got any lingering?
No. So
the that long COVID?
No, I have nothing. But so for like a week, so I didn't cough once while I was sick for the first like 4 days or whatever. And then I got a cough that lasted for like 7 days, but it was like, it wasn't one of those annoying coughs where you're like, ow, this is hurting my throat or whatever. It felt like every time I coughed, I was like getting up phlegm, and I was like, oh, okay, this
productive.
is good. Like, productive cough, spitting, whatever, like good. And then for like, up until like 2 days ago, maybe. So over a month, I guess, I had this when I would eat food only or like be around food. I had this like rotten smell in my like nose. And I've heard other people like of getting this. And it was like nothing.
While
like,
you're eating, you smell something rotten.
like as soon as food would come out, like if it was like, oh, I got a delivery. And as soon as I brought the bag in, I'd be like, oh, what is that? And like the only way I described it to somebody else was like, when you go to like Indian kid's apartment when you're in school and you're like, what is that smell? Like you can't describe. You're not like, oh, this is, or like you go to your friend, like an ethnic,
that was
not
my
a
house,
familiar smell,
right? Yeah,
Oh,
you go to like an ethnic kid's.
Yeah, that's why I never
place.
invited anyone over.
Right, and like you're like, what is that? And you're like, I can't. Like if somebody put a gun to my
I can't
head,
tell you what spice that is.
Right,
but they have a lot of it.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know. Is that curcumin? So yeah, that was
saffron Deander.
Yeah, that was it. And is that star anise, babe? And I just and by the way, when I was in New York, every fucking person I know got COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone.
My whole family got it.
Yeah, my whole dad's side of the family. My boy has it right now. Patty called me 3 days ago. He's like, yo, got COVID. Like everybody I know.
I don't know how I haven't gotten sick yet. I was exposed to it. Like, I don't know if I said this on the pod. Did I tell you about Christmas Day when I went over to my parents' house? My cousin.
You might have said it on the deleted pod because I know we heard it, but I don't know if it went out there. You repeat it though. It's good.
Essentially, I went over to my parents' house, me, Sarah, my brother and his fiance. We all did Christmas dinner at my parents' house, and my cousin's staying there, and he's I don't know if he's
annoying.
No, I just don't know how much I don't know how much attention he pays to any of this stuff. Do you know what I mean? But we go there and he's basically got this gnarly cough and he's like laughing a lot, but he's also like coughing. He's like, and we're like, oh, are you all right, dude? Like, have you gotten a COVID test or do you think you have COVID? He's like, nah, man, I just sick. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then later on, I'm like, okay. And later on, we were talking about like, oh, it's going to be good to have this dinner. He's like, yeah, man, but I can't taste or smell anything. And we're like, what? I'm like, that sounds like COVID. You should go get a test. He's like, nah, man, I'm sure it's nothing, but I'll make a appointment for a test. And we're like, yeah, please. Meanwhile, he's just coughing on everyone. He's staying with my two elderly parents, they're vaxxed and boosted, but they're also like late 60s and they smoke. I mean, they're just old. And, and he's like, he's everywhere and he's coughing on everything. And we're like, okay, just like go get a test. Let us know how it goes. I get a text like 3 days later when he gets back from his test. He's like, yeah, man, I got it. I got COVID. We're like, oh, great. So now I've got to get tested. Sarah's got to get tested. My brother, his fiance, my parents have to get tested. Somehow we all test negative. And I think I tested twice in that week. I was negative. I don't know how we avoided it, but like I, at this point, think it's kind of just a matter of time before we get Omicron.
I feel the same.
And it's, people at work have gotten it. Then they've got to take a 10-day.
I just got an email from Bo's school. I mean, his teacher went down. Now there's 7 kids in his class that have it. He wears a mask every day, so I don't know if that's helping him. But and then I got another email that there's 74 new positive cases in the past week at his school. I'm like, just stop sending me these emails. Like, what am I supposed to do with 74 new cases?
And they're still going to
elementary
school?
Right. Like, let's say it said 7.
And no mask mandates.
And Bo hasn't gotten it?
No, his bus driver got it, has been out now for the past 2 weeks. We have to take him to school every day.
Well, you know what I feel like?
He's wearing his mask. I don't know.
I feel like they've stopped talking about something everywhere, which is like Kasim is like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. It's like, what about, remember they were saying like so many people get it and show no symptoms, like they're completely asymptomatic. So
yeah, but I'm testing I'm testing all the time because of work.
I test 5 days a week.
And I've tested my kids in the past 2.5 weeks, I've tested my kids each 4 times and they're both negative, but they've had runny noses. Yeah. They've like had little temperatures for a day or two. And I called his pediatrician and I'm like, is this showing up late because they've both been exposed multiple times? And she's like, honestly, Jamie, they might have a cold. Like, I don't know. I got a cold like 2 months ago and I was like, oh, this is for sure COVID. Yeah. But like, I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell. And then I took a test. I took like 3 tests and I didn't test positive at all. So I just had a cold, it seemed like. I think that I'm noticing, at least here, the attitude amongst parents is like a lot of them are just not even testing their kids because let them get it. They're like, just let them get it. It's such like a little pox. Cold for them. Like at this point, like they're not like the kids on Bo's football team the other day. Like the dad was like, I know a bunch of parents that are just not testing their kids anymore. It's just like, we can't stress them out anymore. Like Bo keeps asking me like, do you think I have COVID? If he like coughed for a second, I'm like, buddy, I don't know. Yeah. You want me to test you? Like, it's hard. I know. Yeah. I'm glad we're at the point where it's like where Omicron is like it seems like it's a more diluted version of what was happening early in the pandemic and much milder. And the only thing, it's just, I'm so over it. You know, it's like, I've got to come to work extra half hour early and I've got to take a rapid test before I can even see or talk to anyone. And it'll be great. And if somebody does test positive, now they have to go home for 10 days and that like, they just can't be on any of the shows. And it's like, it fucks production up. I mean, like whatever, it's fine. We're being safe, but you know, it's like, I've reached a point where I just wish maybe we could either all get it and get over it like how Robbie got over it. But I don't know. It seems like everyone's body kind of handles it differently. Cause I know people that had it for a couple of days like you and then got over it. And then I know people that like are still like, I know somebody who hasn't gotten his sense of smell or taste back or his smell back for like 6 months. It was before Omicron. So it's like, I don't know, like, do I run the risk of that? I don't know. But you know what's funny? It's like, because it's COVID, it's made so dramatic. Like if you were like, yo, listen to this story. My friend got a cold 6 months ago. He hasn't been able to smell since. But like, because it's COVID, it's like, oh, he lost his sense of smell for 6 months. Like, you know, it's just such a fucking like. But not having smell is crazy to me. Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you know, like, it just when things come with COVID, it comes with like this heavier, and which like rightfully so. Like, it's fucking shut down the world. Like, there's just this like weight to it now, where like everybody said it's like, you know, it's fucked up because some people are like, I can't be done with it because I'm X, Y, and Z. But it's like I just want to be fucking done with this thing. Yeah, like, you know, but. I hope you guys are all being safe out there, and I don't give a fuck what you guys do. But if you guys do get sick, I hope you guys get over it quickly. And that was a very dark day that you shared with us. Makes for a great pod, though. It really does. I hope so. Really, because I feel like I did a terrible job with the triangle. And the geometry of it all was, you know, but otherwise it was a harrowing story. Let's do one email, and then what do you say we let Jamie go? She's going out with the friends tonight. Who are you going out with tonight? What's my friend Becca's birthday? Oh, Becca, friend of the pod, Becca. Yep. Yeah, great. Would she ever do the pod again? Or she hate us? Oh, she loves us. She loves tell her we said happy birthday. Well, I know she loves you. Tell her we said happy birthday. But also, Jamie, last time we spoke, you were on a secret mission for a secret project. How did it go? It was great. Yeah, good. Mm-hmm. When are we going to be able to talk about this secret project, guys? Weeks. Okay, great. Weeks. Can't wait. This is gonna be huge for all of us. Oh, me personally, everyone involved. Yeah. Okay, this just is saying we know Jamie is gonna be. Yeah. This is from Jessica. She says, "Hi, Jamie, Rob, and Cass. First, and by the way, if you want to send us an email, askpajamapants@gmail.com, and there's a chance we'll read it on the air. And if not, it sits in the inbox, much like Philip from Long Island's email right now." Those are great. Those are great. I like that. Was very professional. Yeah, thank you. This person's email address, you know how it's usually like @Gmail. Yeah, what is that? I don't know. That's probably like her company or something. Sounds Italian. First, I love your pod. You have such great chemistry together, and your friendship really comes through. I also love your willingness to talk about virtually anything and everything. I have an awkward relationship question for Rob.
I don't know if you'll answer this on the pod, but I figure it can't hurt to ask you and you have taken weirder questions before. I've been with my boyfriend for about 4 months. He is truly amazing and the relationship is going well. It's the best relationship I've had. The reason this question is for Rob is because my boyfriend is so much like Rob. My boyfriend has an Irish background and was born in New York like Rob and grew up in Queens. Rob and my boyfriend look a lot alike, dark hair, etc., sound alike, and seem to have similar outlooks on life.
Sounds like a cool dude.
This guy sounds hot. Everything in the relationship is going well, except for one thing. My boyfriend says my blowjobs need improvement. He's been very vague about how I can improve.
Sounds like a question for Cass.
He's been very vague about how I can improve, only saying I'm not hitting the most sensitive part and I focus too much on areas that are not sensitive. When I ask for more clarity, he doesn't really want to talk about it more. I'm at a loss because I really want him to enjoy oral. Everything else we do sexually is amazing for both of us. And I also really enjoy giving oral. I'm frustrated because I really want him to enjoy blowjobs and they are important to him. And I feel like I'm disappointing him.
Can we stop right there?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that partially becomes his fault, right? If he won't talk, like if you're saying
this is all his fault.
Yeah. If he's, but I'm saying where she's coming from is like, I want to do better. I want to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying you want to talk about it and you want to know more about it. You have to tell him, hey, I've been with a bunch of guys who have enjoyed what I'm doing, but I want you to enjoy this. But every guy is different.
Maybe she doesn't have to say she's been with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, she does not have
right,
to say that.
okay.
I would not say that.
Yeah, okay. Well,
just tell me what you like and how I can improve because I want your experience.
For me, I want you to feel great. Like, tell me how you like it.
Right. And it's like every guy, what my point was of saying I've been with a lot of guys is every guy is different. So it's like, I can't know what your sensitive area is if you're not going to tell me. Like and it's weird that he would be open enough to like say, because the awkward part of the conversation is
bringing
like,
it up.
Hey babe, you're not good at this.
Yeah. And he's already done the hard work.
Yeah. So maybe he needs to listen to the pod and maybe coming from someone who basically is him.
Jessica, this is what you're going to do. You're going to play this part of the pod while you're with him in the car, or like you're going to accidentally play this part. Okay. I'm going to cue it up for you.
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
here, okay?
Maybe while she's going down on him, she could play it.
Yeah. Okay. So this part right here, and we'll just pretend like we were talking about something else. And then we'll, you can play this right now. Okay. Ready? And so I had a girl who just liked giving blowjobs, but she couldn't like do it the way I liked her to. So you know what I did, Rob?
What'd you do?
I talked to her about it.
That's what I would do.
She was totally open.
Like you said, can I like help you out?
She wanted to be better.
Great.
And I wanted to give her that opportunity, but it was my job to be specific about what I liked.
Because you know what? Because every guy is different.
Every guy is different. And if my girlfriend's name, I don't know, was Jessica or something, I'd sit her down and say, hey, Jessica, this is what I like in a blowjob. I like the sensitive areas paid attention to, which on a penis would be the tip. And I don't like, so much of the hand or licking my balls. It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I like a little bit of stroke and I like a little bit of a tongue on the tip. And I like you to vary up the speed. And that's what I would say to Jessica, my girlfriend, who loves giving oral, which, by the way, is such a gift. God forbid.
When they like it, you mean?
Well, when you have a girl, when you have a girl that likes performing.
That's 75% of it, right? Like if you're like one of the things with the last girl that I was dating was like, she was like, it's so nice that when we have sex, like it doesn't have to be like as soon as the sex starts, it's like there's like something switches.
Mm-hmm.
Like we could still like be comfortable or like goofy, or like it doesn't have to become like this a fucking porn or something.
Yeah, like a romance.
Yeah, like it could still be like, babe, move over. Like like you could just kind of be whatever. Like some people, when it comes to sex, like they want it to seem like everything is perfect in it. So if there's something like that where you have to say like, hey, or like, oh, I don't like that, or like something like that, then it's like they don't want to ruin the moment, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, God forbid you have a conversation with somebody one time and then you get perfect blowjobs from that point on. You know, like just have the conversation. It's all about the communication.
She wants to give a good blowjob so bad. She's writing to us.
Yeah, she's a good student.
You're a good woman.
Wow.
Jessica,
Better woman than I am.
Much love.
Yeah,
Good
right.
for you.
All right, so should we get the last
Well, she basically
paragraph?
says, Rob, what are your thoughts? What can I do to
Explain
improve?
what is most sensitive? No, you can't, because for every guy, it's different. You know, some guys, I lived in Vegas for a long time. Some guys would have a woman kick them in the balls over and over, or step on their balls with high heels. Yeah, high heels repeatedly, which for me would kill me because my balls are sensitive. But some guys are not, or some guys like this, or some guys like that. There is no way to be like,
maybe he likes a finger in his butt. Not me.
And here's the deal, right? I think it's like maybe you need to, when you're doing stuff to him, judge his reaction. And when he seems like he's really enjoying stuff, that's how you judge. Those are his sensitive areas. And when he's maybe starts,
Bored.
talking about, when he seems a little, when he's gazing off into the distance, then, like he's not really feeling it. But I don't think there's one answer where you go like, here's how you do it.
No. When you're in class and you're in that lab and they got the frog cut open and you've got the instructor there telling you exactly how to cut open that frog and where his heart is. But guess what? Every other time that person's ever going to cut open a frog, they're going to know what to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
Sure.
That's a pod,
and
guys.
Here's the other thing, right?
Oh no, that's not a pod.
The reason why she can't just say to me like, tell me what the most sensitive areas are. Tell me that's what she said. It's like, well, because I've had girls do stuff where I would have never brought that up because I didn't know I liked it. And then a girl does something and you're like, holy shit. Like, what girls are doing out there?
You love a girl that pushes your boundary in a tasteful way. And then you're like, oh, I'm into this. I didn't even know.
Right. Or even just like, there were times where like, I've been involved in sex and a girl has like put her hand on my chest and like pushed me down to the bed and been like, just sit back. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's because you're like, shit's about to go down and I just get to chill.
Yeah,
like that's
cool.
my, I like it. Like it's fucking Netflix or some shit, you're just fucking
love it.
Sometimes you just want to be an observer.
You get it all from this pod, guys. You get sex advice, you get horror stories about COVID, you get dead people. You got it all. And I'm glad you guys tune in every week. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe, click that notification bell. That way, when our videos go live, which is every Tuesday morning. We're on Instagram. Jamie and I on Twitter and Instagram, even though Jamie says she doesn't really use Twitter.
No.
Rob's off the grid, so don't bother getting to him. Although you did respond to some DMs on Pajama Pants' Instagram today, so thanks for that.
Yeah,
we're also on TikTok.
I'm on Instagram at Perry Caravello Live.
Yeah, we got to get Perry back. We're also on TikTok now, guys. So, anyone else have anything before we let Jamie go?
Absolutely
Love
not.
you.
Okay, guys, we'll see you in the next one.